Hi everyone, this is Nate Sharrett's first weather briefing. I'll be going over this morning's weather and then be working into later today and tomorrow. Looking at the surface analysis chart, we do see a lot of low pressure markers right here, but it's predominantly high over the northern plains, then becoming low over California and Utah here, and then the southeastern United States. We got a cold front going over that same area right down here, and then another cold front going from Minnesota down into Colorado, Utah, that area. We have a couple storms moving through South Dakota and then a larger one in Minnesota and Wisconsin and then Michigan. Here's a satellite image that was taken a little bit more recently, and you can see that has developed more over the Great Lakes, and then that storm that was in South Dakota has moved northeast a little bit up into the Fargo area. And then in the southern United States, we can see just a few pockets of isolated storms. And if we look at the radar image, we can see that there's hail warnings basically in all those areas we just looked at. Today's convective outlook includes a general risk across most of the southern United States with a marginal risk in South Carolina. Um, Up towards us, though, we got a little bit higher. It goes up to a slight in northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, and South Dakota. So we might be seeing a few more storms this afternoon. There are multiple signets out in the United States. I'll focus on the ones in our area. And we have a low level wind shear right down here. And up in North Dakota, we also have low level wind shear. And then turbulence at flight level 280 to flight level 400 with a general IFR in Minnesota. We also have some severe thunderstorm warnings. They're going to be moving from the generally west at 30 knots with tops going up to flight level 450, and those may be bringing up to 1 inch hail and gusts up to 50 knots. We have a pretty standardized freezing level across the United States today. That'll be 16,000 feet, with the exception of New England going up into Maine, and that'll be around 12,000 feet. Looking at the local METAR data here, you can see Grand Forks is broken. It's 70 degrees, and probably just because we're at the edge of that system to the south of us, being the reason for broken. To the west is all clear with 10-knot winds coming from the west. And then to the southeast there, you can see that thunderstorm that we were just looking at. Here we can get a better look at those thunderstorms moving to the east of us. And at the bottom here, I've put two METARs for Grand Forks and Minneapolis. And both of these are showing good weather, but as you can see, everywhere in between and everywhere to the east of Minneapolis are those severe thunderstorm warnings with 1 inch hail and gusts up to 50 knots. Looking out into later today, we can see that there's a chance for rain and thunderstorms across most of the southern United States, with a little bit happening up closer to us than going into Wisconsin and northern Michigan. Then going out a day further, we can see most of the same thing happening down here. So chance of rain, thunderstorms, with a little bit more fronts developing up here, which means a little increased chance of rain and probably thunderstorms as well. So we might be seeing more of the same stuff going into the future. Going into the low-level significant weather outlook, we can see that the icing levels are about the same as what we looked at earlier, 16,000 feet. A little visibility warning right here, which is going to be MVFR, and same thing up here, and then down into North Carolina over here as well. The high-level significant weather outlook shows the jet stream just above us, and it has a little bit of changes in winds as it goes, and that's going to create a bit of turbulence signaled by the yellow right here. We also have some isolated embedded cumulonimbus going up to 40,000 feet right here, and similar ones over Texas and then over the Atlantic over here. Looking at the local forecast, we can see that it is pretty clear weather-wise up here. We just got winds coming out of the west at about 10 knots. That's going to continue across most of northern Minnesota and then way over to Montana over here. But looking here, we can see the thunderstorm warning is a little bit more north than what was shown on the other maps. So be ready for a variation in there. We don't know where it's coming yet. And lastly, for the 10,000 wind chart, not too much up there. We can see some 30-knot winds going around this high pressure system, but up here it's about standard, if anything, 10 to 20 knots across the northern plains. And that's it for my weather briefing. Thank you.